Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Priya Shah. I'm the founder and executive director of The Simple Good, and super grateful to be with you guys today and having me a part of this amazing day. So today, I'm just going to share a little bit about my journey of founding The Simple Good, and also share with you the impact that we continue to have, not only in Chicago, but around the world. So, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually from Chicago. I'm born a little outside of the city, in Oak Park. And I grew up as an artist. I was always known as that person that would always be drawing in class. I was also always picked on to do everybody's art projects all the time in class, so that got kind of old. But I also had a lot of amazing and really unique experiences at a young age to volunteer around the world, which really shaped my worldview, but also shaped who I am today. I had a unique experience to work at Mother Teresa's orphanage when I was in high school, which was a really profound experience for me and also led me to the trajectory of founding The Simple Good. For those of you that have ever been to the orphanage or anything similar, it is a very powerful place. It's a room full of children that have been through more than many of us have within a short period of time on this earth. And what really caught me was how that really taught me what it means to teach and learn resilience. I was working with a group of students that have gone through many different things that we can't even imagine happening within our lifetime sometimes. And still they had the ability to see beauty within other people and around us and had the skill set to acknowledge it. Their ability to really see goodness around us is what really fueled their resilience. To believe that there is good existing every day means that there is a life worth living, and therefore we have also the power to create it ourselves. That really profoundly made me reflect on myself and the obstacles that I had to face growing up. I grew up in a community where there weren't that many people that look like me. Being a woman in this world has always been oppressive, and I'm also born with one hand. So I grew up always facing so many obstacles, so many levels of oppression, and always wondering why. Why was life so hard at a young age? And working at the orphanage made me really realize that I actually had a lot of assets that were within me that no one really spoke about. What was the simple good that was within me that could really change my world and therefore the world of the people around me. And I realized that the world never really taught me about what I had. It was mostly what I didn't have. The world didn't really show me the simple good that was already within me, mostly what was bad about me. And therefore, it limited my understanding of my own possibility and the possibility of the world around me. And so to really reflect on understanding myself and the things that I could use within my own self to create and change in this world really shaped my trajectory today. I realized I'm an artist. I can use that skill set to make other people happy. I have done that, and I can really use that as a tool to change the world. And that really shook me up and shook my identity, and I sat with it, and I knew I had to share this knowledge and this wisdom and this skill set to other kids that were just like me, kids that have been written off simply because of what we look like and where we're born. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was going to do it. And I was entering university, and I actually went into business. I went into accounting and finance. And to everybody's shock, they were like, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in art school." But while working abroad, I really saw the gap between business and the social sector. There are two groups of people that needed to work with each other in order to create sustainable impact, but they didn't speak the same language. I realized I was going to go into university, and a lot of people on this earth actually don't have that privilege. So I planned on going into business in order to study something that I hope that one day I could bring back to the communities that have impacted me so that one day I could make that sustainable change. I didn't necessarily know how I was going to do that. I ended up working at a Big Four accounting firm right after college, and that's actually where I founded The Simple Good. It all started with a photo blog called The Simple Good that went viral. And it was created with a group of friends after a really profound discussion about what does the simple good mean in our lives? What are those small moments of joy that not only bring me happiness, but everybody around us? And how does that exist around the world? And we realized that, no matter where you go in the world, good really means the same around us, to all of us. And that is what connects us as human beings. And so kind of as a creative outlet, while I was working this corporate accounting job, I created this photography blog with a group of friends, and we collected 54 photos from our different travels, capturing those moments of joy, those small truths that we all have experienced that have brought us positivity, and put them all together in a blog, and also asked the world to share their meaning of the simple good with us. And within a week, the blog went viral. We started getting submissions of photography of different notions of the simple good from across the globe. A newspaper in Italy wrote about us. A bunch of submissions from China came in. And it was amazing, and it was fascinating to see that people are willing to be vulnerable for a short period of time simply to connect with one another. And I really wanted to see this online buzz on the ground. I wanted it to be face-to-face in front of people to really show folks that throughout, no matter what our ideas of goodness are, that is what connects us. So I put together my first art exhibition in Chicago featuring the 20 most popular photos. And in order to get into that exhibition, you had to bring your own photo of the simple good. And I actually added that into the exhibition walls. It was a really interesting social experiment to test out if the simple good really does work in front of people. And that was what changed the trajectory of how I was going to go about this. It was a room full of 100 people that didn't really know what they were doing there, came out to see this exhibition. And by the end of the night, you saw that everybody was exchanging stories and connecting on their notions of goodness that were brought into their life with one another. The noise level was through the roof, and everybody at the end of it asked me when I was going to do it again. And what I wanted to do is really bring it to our youth here in Chicago. Our youth here and the problems that I would see in Chicago were not much different than what I would work with all around the world. We just look at it differently. The same kids that I would work with around the world are very similar to the kids that I wanted to work with here. Kids that are written off as being negative simply because of how they look and where they're born. So I approached a few teachers on the south side and I was like, look, I got this blog called The Simple Good and I want your kids to be a part of it. And they were thrilled. A platform for our students to speak about what is good in their lives and hopefully empower them to change the world. So that became our first pilot program, where we use the photo blog to really teach our students about different examples of goodness, different forms of resilience that existed in the world, and to inspire their own notion of the simple good in their lives. And it was fascinating. From the first day of the classroom, I came in, and it was generally a group of students that were repeating negative things that they heard and saw in their environment. And over a course of a period of time, after surrounding them with a notion of positivity, the students became a lot more thoughtful and observant, understanding different notions of love, kindness, and goodness that did exist around them. Our students started making observations, seeing how somebody gave to the homeless, how there was a kind gesture happened the other day, or how we can all be good right now. One story I always tell that I think is really powerful and very reminiscent of what I still see today is at that final showcase. One of our students was drawing a tree. She was very adamant of making this tree very perfect. And I would always try to help her, and she was so good about this tree. And on the final day of the showcase, I come in and I see that she writes hope and faith on the bottom of the tree. She goes up to present, and she talks about her painting. And she says, my simple good is this tree. It's a tree of hope. Because sometimes in the world, people die, and you don't know why. But you should still have hope and faith that things will get better. She was in 3rd grade and able to really go through this process of cope, of deaths that have happened around her, and still fuel a story of resilience through focusing on her simple good. This had become a powerful trajectory for all of our students because now our students are going to have shifted their worldview towards something positive and hopeful, which will also impact the decision-making towards the rest of their lives. This is the birth of our first program, which we ended up bringing to the school every year, which ended up expanding to more schools because more teachers heard about it. And now it has become the formal program that it is today. So we work with schools all across Chicago, but pre-pandemic and hopefully post, we also work internationally in post-genocide Rwanda, and also have worked with formerly abducted child soldiers in Uganda. So this notion of goodness does not separate ourselves from different traumas that we experience in the world. They're very much connected. And to make this all kind of come alive and real for you, I wanted you guys to hear it from our students and hear about the impact that we've done around the world.
I'm Sahara Lopez, and I'm from Little Village, Chicago, Illinois. Little Village has been mainly angry and fearful because just a few years ago we were able to celebrate our culture out and in public, and we still can, but it's more that he brings people that brings hate to us, which is, like I said, damaging. But I actually didn't know what was going on with Rwanda until I met Priya, and we did the project with the Simple Good. Once I learned about Rwanda, I actually felt like as a student I could actually make a difference, because after hearing what happened and all the violence that they had, I thought about how I can do so much more here in my own little town, Chicago. Our community is always in fear, I think, because with what's going on with politics and things like that. But when a class comes together and decides, yeah, we're gonna put up a mural and that represents hope, and parents see that and think, oh, yeah, my kid helped make that, which brings a brighter future for them and knows that their kids will be okay.
Sometimes I don't wanna be a soldier. Sometimes I just wanna be a man. Woman said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. My hobby said, shine your light on the world. Shine your light for the world to see. I want black people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want my people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want black people to be free, to be free, to be free. Want black people to be free. That's all that I need. That's all that I see. That's all that I see. Black people unite and let's all get down. Gotta have what? Gotta have that love piece of the sand. And one God, one life, one man, one voice, one mic. Let it unite. Come on and do it right like we unite. Come on and do it right like we unite.
I'm proud to be a part of the Simple Good, and I'm glad that my siblings are going to be part of it.
So that's a preview of my journey of how I've spread the simple good around the world, and I would love for everybody to challenge themselves today to think about how they will do the same. Thanks for having me.